What style of shoe do you have? I mean, I know there's like a multitude of styles when it comes to, is there any that you like sell mostly in the store?
Well, most people come in for a good training shoe first, and that is probably 80% of what we carry. Then there are racing shoes, there are lightweight trainers, there are, I mean, even the minimalist type shoes that few people wear. Occasionally you sell someone one of those, but that category is a pretty thin category.
Do you have any opinions on the minimalist shoe? Because it's been kind of controversial since 2009.
And I don't mean to be insulting at all, but those who know shoes and people, it was never very controversial. Hardly anyone should have been doing it.
And why is that?
Because we are not runners like we used to be back before there were roads and all of that. Even though the folks promoting that movement felt that we should run as our ancestors did, we don't do that anymore. We run on concrete. Even our MKT trail is a harder surface than what a lot of people back in history would run on. Certainly, it's what I call that type of shoe. It's not that there's not a place for it, but there's no place for it as your everyday shoe. And that's what the folks promoting that movement were pretty clueless about. They thought that we should be in those types of shoes all the time. And the truth is, I have run since 1971, and I always have a lightweight shoe that is good for one day a week or one day every 2 weeks. But you use it every day and you get hurt.
Okay.
You know, people have tried running barefoot for years. Some can actually accomplish it. Most cannot. And you have to recognize how people are.
So you think it depends mostly on the person when it comes to
very specifically on the person. You know, the reason there are so many shoes on this wall is because the way you are linked up, particularly from the low back on down, dictates your stride, what type of shoe suits you best, and then there's foot shape. And if we were all supposed to do things the same way, there would only be one shoe.
So speaking of that, how do you fit somebody for a shoe in here? What's your process?
Well, first you have to understand what happens when you're running, and that's that your arch flexes, your toes move forward. You also have to understand that the shoes shorten a little bit as you break them in, so you have to leave a little length. I can't, in fact I make the statement, no one can look at you and accurately tell you what category shoe you should be in. There are those who claim otherwise, and all I have to say is liar, liar. It doesn't work that way. You're too complicated from the way you're jointed from the low back on down. And I have raced guys under 30 minutes for 10K, and I have been beat by guys who you would think should be doing something a lot differently because of their form. But the truth is, if they can run that fast, they're doing it the way they should. You know?
So, I mean, I don't know a lot about running form, but I mean, I know you're supposed to have like a straight gait. Are there famous runners who run? There
are inefficiencies that if some runners try to fix them, they're just going to get hurt. You know, one of the Britain's fastest guys in the 80s, late 70s, 80s, in that neighborhood, was a guy named Steve Cram. And his form for a world-class guy was not very good. But I will almost assure you that should he have tried to fix it, which according to some he should have, he'd have probably been hurt. Statistically, about 80% of the time when you try to change your form, you get injured.
Since you've been running for over 40 years, on all the different kinds of shoes that you've run on, have you noticed any ill effects on your body?
You know, I'm like anybody else. As I get older, I'm going to be a little more fragile. I'm only 57 now, almost 58.
But you're still running a lot during the week.
40 miles a week or so, yeah.
40 miles?
Yeah, and the answer is when I was competitive, I ran 100 miles a week. You know, that's what we did. I'm not sure I was the most talented guy when it came to training, but I was very good at not getting hurt. And I think there is a talent there as well.
So how has the market here, as a salesman, changed for shoes?
there are more people running than when we started 29 years ago, but they're not running as competitively for the most part. They're more concerned about being more healthy. I will tell you that some of the things we do in training may border on not really being healthy. If you want to be, the truth is, the fastest people in the world probably weigh a little less than they should.